Okay, we're going to settle in for a minute and talk about the power of the pivot and how your ability to pivot has a direct impact on your success. Okay. Now, when I say pivot, what I'm talking about is your ability to be facing one direction, obtain some information, have a situation happen, and quickly turn and head in a different direction. Okay. That's a pivot. Sometimes what happens in life is we get shoved down or knocked down, or we get shocking information that really is putting us in a situation where we no longer can go the direction that we're going. We are forced to change directions. Now, one of two things happen to people in these situations. One is they take the hit, they understand they need to take a different direction, but they are unable to do so. They struggle to execute the pivot. The main cause for struggle to execute the pivot is the story you're telling yourself in your mind about what's happening. So if you take a hit and all of a sudden you totally lose it and you're like, everything bad always happens to me. This is why I don't even try. I know that I wasn't even going to be good enough anyway. And you sit and you wallow and wallow and wallow. You're not pivoting. You're not turning. You're not helping yourself gain that new energetic charge that you need to head in the direction you need to go. Now, I'm not saying that when hits happen, it's not okay to take a minute, but the people who spend a considerable amount of time staying down, telling themselves old, played out, recycled stories will not reach their success as quickly as those people who take the hit, fall down, get back up, and start telling themselves, you know what, this was all part of the plan. This is part of my journey. This is for the greater good. Everything always works out for me. I know that I take the hit, but not the fall. I'm going to get up. I'm going to keep going. That mental ability to pivot really does make the difference between persevering and not persevering. And I'm going to tell you right now, true evolution demands perseverance. It demands it. Okay. So I'm going to use a real life example of what's happening right now on this app. There's a lot of different things coming into my newsfeed about the change of the algorithm. And some people are on it. They're creating content in the new way, and they are doing exactly what all the changes are while they're really excited to share them because, knowing what the changes are is essentially the keys to the kingdom. They're executing the pivot. Okay. Now, other people are coming into my newsfeed and they're taking the mentality of like, now they want us to do this and now they want us to do that. You can hear in my language when I say they want me to do this and they want me to do that, I have just given my power away. I'm now telling myself a story of how powerless I am against this thing. When in all reality, the narrative is you can shift your pivot. You can change anytime you want to change. So I'm going to ask you, what are the things that are happening in your life where you're generating a story of powerlessness to avoid the pivot? And what are the things that are happening in your life where you're able to make the pivot, get your power back, and be off to the races? Always ask yourself, am I in the pivot? Am I using the power of the pivot? Or am I sitting down stuck? Developing that mental toughness to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and say, okay, let's get it, let's go, makes all the difference. You can do it.